Hi there. Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast with me, Russell Davis. This episode is about something I see with nearly every client, and I've wrestled with it myself: limiting beliefs. Beliefs like I'm not good enough or I don't deserve to be happy. They seem so real, but they're thoughts we've innocently picked up along the way. And once we start seeing them for what they are, they can begin to lose their power. This episode is all about helping you reconnect to the truth of who you are underneath those beliefs. Let's dive in and find out what that is. I love meeting new clients, prospective clients, people who are interested in work with me, and we spend some time together just to explore whether I can help. And these people I've never met before. And I love how within minutes, often they're just seeing their situation and themselves and their life very differently. How sometimes within minutes we're identifying a limiting belief they have that shapes everything they experience in life, themselves, life, but not just their experience, but actually their circumstances. It doesn't matter whether a client's coming to get a new promotion or try to have a baby or whatever it may be, have the confidence to change career. Some people know that there's some kind of block, they're holding themselves back in some way, and that can impact our body. You know, when we were trying to have a baby, 10 years of infertility, turns out my fertility struggles were caused by my psychology. When I began to have a different relationship with myself and life, suddenly my body started to change. My biology changed. The mind and body are one system. I love getting into the core, what's going behind someone's issue. I don't teach tools and techniques to make people feel better or try to fight thought with new thought. I don't believe in affirmations. I believe getting to the core of it. What's really going on? And it's often a limiting belief in one form or another. So for me, in my journey, in my life, it's often been things like, I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be successful. Or I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I need to prove myself in some way. They were prevalent in my life. That imposter syndrome, I don't deserve. I went to a selective school, but I didn't get a place. My parents had to appeal, so I didn't feel I deserved to be there. Didn't think I was good enough. They're both playing out. Same at university. Don't believe I deserve to be happy doing the things I love and getting paid for that. I don't believe that anymore. It can show its head from time to time, but that was one of my limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough was another one. Constantly striving to prove myself. Often feeling inferior to other people. These things can be subtle, but actually their impact can be profound. Because often we have coping mechanisms. Often we think they're useful, that I'm not good enough. We think to have that striving, that edge, that fear. We think we need that to succeed. When we start talking about beliefs and limiting beliefs, there are some myths around them. Some people think, well, it's just who they are. Or a type A personality, it's just their personality, it's just who I am. It's not true. No one's born a type A personality. No one's born with certain beliefs about themselves, other than I'm okay. Look at toddlers, I'm okay. They have an innate well-being belief, not a limiting belief. Another myth is, it's caused by our past, and we can't change that, it's just who we are. Again, it's not true. The past doesn't exist. Yeah, well, thinking about ourselves, and that's what a belief is. What is a belief? A belief is a thought. Maybe a repetitive thought, but it's still a thought. And the contents of our thinking may be shaped by our past, but the past doesn't exist. It's a thought in this moment. Another myth is that these limiting beliefs take years to change. You need to reparent yourself. Not true. These beliefs form very quickly, and they may be reinforced over the years as our mind finds new evidence to believe them, but they often form in a moment or very quickly over a period of time. It means you can unlearn it. It's all learned, but you can unlearn it. You have a change of heart. When you have a change of heart, you can melt up a belief quite quickly. There's certain beliefs you really held on to maybe for many years, even maybe you believed in Father Christmas or the Tooth Fairy, and then at some point you decided that wasn't true. It didn't take you years or wrestling with it to let go of the old belief. You decided it wasn't true. And that's possible with any limiting belief. I'm not saying it's flicking a switch. In my experience, it's like learning to ride a bike. You watch a child learn to ride a bike, you see that moment they found that feeling of balance. They've got it. Well, they soon fall off. When they get back on, they find it a little bit quicker and they stay in it longer, but they soon fall off. Every time they get back on, they find it quicker and they stay in it longer. They've connected themselves to the principle of gravity and the belief they can ride a bike. And I find that with clients, and they find that feeling so much quicker than they imagine. Yeah, sometimes they fall out of it. It's a habit. But they've tasted it, they know it's there, they know what they're looking for, they believe they can get back into it. That's the key thing. They suddenly believe, oh, this can be changed. And the change is far quicker than they imagine. So belief is a thought in this moment. We're doing it to ourselves, out of habit. One thing to begin to look at is maybe our relationship with that belief. Or maybe before that, actually, is accepting we have a limiting belief. Any personal development journey starts with brutal honesty, acceptance. Unconsciously, I was blaming life, the world, God, my wife, and bank balance, my boss. Not realizing it's my thinking about myself creating my challenges in life, not anything else. It's me doing it to myself. I had these habitual thoughts. And that level of acceptance means you can begin to move on from it. You can't leave a place you haven't been to. Until you accept where you are, you can't move on from it. But accept with love and compassion. I've tried being hard on myself. I tried to resent my limiting beliefs, my thinking. I tried to get annoyed at them, tried to give myself a kick out the backside. It doesn't work. That's fighting thought with thought. It doesn't work. It's about having a loving acceptance, loving compassion, being kind to yourself. It's not your fault you have these thoughts. They started in all innocence. They came from childhood when you interpreted life around you, the way your parents were, or teachers, or kids in the playground. We start picking up these messages about ourselves that aren't true. Because we don't have a filter. We don't realize that other people have stuff. We make it about us. And even though we're no longer those kids in that situation, those thoughts become thought habits. There's a part of us still believing them in some way, thinking the world works that way, think it's who we are. Yeah, the adult part of us knows it's not true. We're equal to everyone else. We deserve happiness like everyone else. There's that unconscious part of us, inner child, unconscious mind, habitual thinking, whatever you want to call it, that continues to buy into the old stories because they're very convincing. They're very convincing, and we haven't got time to unpack it here, but ultimately they think your survival is dependent on them, being part of the pack. So how can you begin to let go of these? Well, I recommend working with someone who can be a really powerful way of doing that, and that's what I do with my clients. But just from listening to this, I suggest you, maybe once you've acknowledged it, is have some loving compassion of yourself. Forgive yourself for judging yourself in that way. Forgive yourself for judging yourself in that way. Maybe you can think about what is the judgment. You judge yourself not being good enough, or judge yourself as not deserving happiness, whatever it may be. Forgive yourself for that judgment. I forgive myself for judging myself as not being good enough, whatever it may be. Forgiveness is a way of letting go of the old story that creates space for the new one. Forgiveness is really powerful. Another one is just to be aware of what it is. As I said earlier, it's a thought. It's a thought in this moment, it's an idea, it's imagination. And the more we begin to notice or realise, we don't have to take our thinking seriously, whatever the thought is. Sometimes we're trying to manage our thinking, trying to let go of the unhelpful thoughts and trying to find the useful thoughts. But the more we try and do that, we're trying too hard. We're trying to manage our outside-in thinking, our busy mind, thinking that's contaminated by insecurity. And we stop trying to do that. When we give up or get bored of trying to manage our thinking, our state of mind, our mind settles automatically. When our mind gets quiet, we access our truth, our soul, inside-out thinking, clarity, insights, wisdom, whatever words you want to give it. And that's our soul that knows we're okay. That's the us that came into the world before we're contaminated by the outside-in thinking, the brass band in our head. The more we notice the difference between our outside-in thinking, our habitual thinking, cognitive thinking, most of which don't need. You don't need to give it a second thought. It moves on its own. Fresh thinking is always coming in. Our mind is always moving back to clarity, perspective, wisdom. Back to our truth, the soul that came into the world that knows we're okay. Letting go of the contaminated thoughts and beliefs we picked up along the way, they just aren't true. Other people's opinion, our misunderstanding. And underneath all that is our soul, our truth, that knows we're okay, that sees through the illusions. So the more we can see the nature of thought, a belief is just a thought. A thought is imagination, a movie. Maybe realistic, maybe plausible, but it's still fantasy. It's imagination. When our mind quietens, we come back to reality, to clarity. And we reconnect to the truth of who we are. An amazing soul that is that's limitless. It's the universe in human form. It's love in its purest form. We all are. We all are. And it's from that space you begin to sense a possibility. An amazing possibility for your life. To create more of the life you want. With more ease and well-being. To know whatever life throws at you, you're going to be okay. The more we live from that space, connect to that space, live what I call inside out, true to our heart and our soul, we can create a fulfilled, inspired, purposeful life, despite circumstances. Our heart and our soul navigates those things and creates more of what we want. Loving you.